Well, hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys.
First of all, thank you all for being here as well. My name is Rachel. We're going to be recording Kathryn Kauffman, all the way from Lexington, joining us here tonight.
My name is Kathryn Kauffman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show where we explore what and who we are through this journey called life. Happy Monday night, everybody. A special shout out up north to Corey Southworth. Did you shovel things out today? Are you able to get around? Are you totally snowed in? I got a little peek at your snow this afternoon, but did it continue, and are you like into more than a foot there? Shout out to George McKinney, Kathy, Julia, my sister Vera. Hey honey, how are you? Kathy, Lorraine, Melissa, and George Monge. Hi to all you guys over here on Instagram. Hey to Debbie. Thanks for joining me. Shout out to Tim. And I hope you're having a great Monday night. We're going to chat about a couple of things before we get started on tonight's topic. First off, I want to know if you guys use any webinar apps, and if so, which ones do you like the best? Just put it, your comment down below so that I can see them. I'm going to do some webinars this spring. And I would really like to know, what webinar apps are the best or that you feel are the best. Hey to Jay Ross, Kim. Thank goodness Corey says no, it stopped. Awesome. Hey to Charlotte, and shout out to Barbara Bacon and Crystal Crazy and Natalie Ginter. So yeah, what webinar apps do you like? What have you used before? What works well for you? Also, I want to give a shout out to the new Chucky fan film called Charles. If you haven't seen the trailer, it will blow you out of the water. I know the new Chucky movie is coming out, but let me tell you, the trailer for the Charles fan film blows it out of the water, guys. Go to my timeline. Watch the review of the trailer and watch the trailer. It's gonna be really, really good. Hey to Cynthia Preston, happy Monday, girl, and Becca. So tonight's topic is, how does your karma affect, or how does your astrology affect your karma? What is it in your astrological sign that leads into or affects what your karma is? What kind of karma are you working through your astrological sign? How do they affect each other? And what challenges are you given in your karma through your astrological sign? Shout out to Barbie, Kelly, and Tony. So let's find out how the two are interrelated. First, I want to go over the basic astrological signs that we're going to look at. The earth signs, if you don't already know, here are the earth signs, is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Okay, the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So this is pretty significant, and what I'll do is I'll go over the basic challenge, karmic challenge of the sign, and then we're going to go through each sign to let you know what your karmic challenges are. Hey to Cynthia and Pamela and Ronald, thanks for joining me. Special shout out to Melissa Bagley and my Favorite cat, Miss Cleo. Kisses to Miss Cleo and Melissa, two of my favorite girls. Hey, guys. All right, so let's start out with the earth signs. And those were Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And what happens with them is, in this particular earth sign, those strengths with which they're endowed with, the earth signs, are evolution, drama, enrolled in really the earthly or material things, and they involve themselves in these earthly and material things. And so if they're born in the earth sign, what that means for the karmic challenges is that they're challenged to develop the spiritual aspects of evolution for their spirit. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. But more importantly, each sign is going to have specific challenges. Hey to Donna Gates and Sarah. Cynthia says, my birthday is February 20th. Talk about us watery gals. I will. And if I don't get to everybody, like if I don't get through all the signs tonight, there'll definitely be a part 2 for next Monday, and we'll continue on. So Taurus, now here's what Taurus has learned in the past lives. Taurus learns a lot about themselves and love in past lives, but their challenge in this life is to express their feelings and overcome their feeling of possessiveness. So they have to confront sentimental things and not attach things to sentiment. Instead of looking for material reassurance, they need to really develop their true mission and confidence in their destiny. In other words, the possessiveness has to do with, it feels like a safety net, the relationships with others. So what the karmic challenge is for Taurus is not to use possessiveness or materialism as a safety net in this particular lifetime. And if you guys have any questions, just put them in the comments. Shout out to Donna Gates and Tammy and Chastity. Thanks for joining me. So now let's take a quick peek at Virgo. Virgos have had in past lives a lot of problems with ego. They need to develop qualities like selfless service in this lifetime, specifically devoted to other people, nurturing the Virgo side of themselves. The nurturing is what they need to develop. They also should be aware of how their acts and their mistakes affect everyone around them. In other words, instead of looking at just the small part of Virgo, they need to see Virgo in the whole as how they fit in with others and how their mistakes affect other people in the long run. So they have to be aware of how their energy affects others. Hey to John Howerton, Jess, Robin, Leanne, and Marika. Thanks for joining me. Hey to Nani over here on Instagram, and Fiorin Woods. Thanks for joining me. Okay, let's continue on, because the next one is my particular astrological sign, and hopefully I'm rising to the occasion here, guys. I don't know, but you'll have to tell me what you think. So Capricorns, and that's my astrological sign, are very typically involved a lot in themselves, satisfying their personal agendas and their ambition, and they've kind of done that in past lives. They've achieved a lot, and they have had the ambition that has driven them to the top. But in this particular karmic challenge, the ambition really needs to be more focused in the service of humanity and the benefit of others. So they have to really refocus their goals, not just on themselves, but on the bigger picture. So service to others rather than service to self. I hope I'm rising to my karmic challenge here. Hopefully in in the long run, in the bigger picture, all of the things that I'm doing now are benefiting a lot of people, and I hope that I'm rising to the occasion. Now, let's go over the water signs. And so pay attention, you watery girls. Let's figure out what is all up with all the water. So water signs in past lives really interact in a deep, deep emotional, watery way. They contact with others on the emotional level. And so their challenge is to develop themselves at the emotional level. So they have to learn really how to control that empathic ability and how to control the emotions. So now let's take a dive into, get it, dive water. Let's take a dive into what the water signs are. It's Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. And so let's look at Cancer's challenges. So Cancer is the sign that's very influenced by the moon, and they are very attached to the past and emotional things about the past. They're really preoccupied with things from old emotional attachments, like family, that kind of thing, family history, family relationships, that type of thing. And so what their lesson is not to attach emotions to things or situations. It kind of delineates a sort of possessiveness in that trait. And so what they need to do is see the big picture on the emotional level, that it's a continuum and that it doesn't end with the material. And so the concept of family is what it is they need to see, that the concept of family continues and it doesn't end with the limitations that they're attaching the emotions to. Hope that makes sense to you guys. So they need to see the big picture of the emotional thing of everybody, how we're all interrelated and how the continuum doesn't end. Hey to Tony and Melissa, thanks for joining me, and a shout out to Wayne. So Cynthia says, LOL, awesome. Awesome, good. All right, let's go into Pisces. So Pisceans are loaded with karmic duties. So it seems like people that are in the sign of Pisces are born to suffer through a lot of stuff. It feels like in order to compensate for errors committed in the past, these people are constantly having to fulfill and begin again, and to sacrifice themselves and know the value of suffering. It's like a spiritual evolution for Pisces. Now, because of this karmic challenge, Pisceans are supposed to harmonize their destinies through positive thinking. So somehow they're supposed to transform their suffering, okay, with the power of positive thinking and compassion, develop compassion for other people that are suffering. In other words, they shouldn't get so caught up with their own suffering that they can't appreciate that the whole may be suffering around them as well, and they can realize that it's not just about them. And then two, the suffering is for the greater good of humanity and for furthering their karma. So they have to kind of embrace that and really take that in. So Pisces has a lot of challenges in this particular lifetime. Let me check and see if there are any questions. So Cynthia, are you a Scorpio? Are you a Pisces? Or are you a Cancer? Shout out in the comment, let me know. Hey, over here to you guys on Instagram, thanks for joining us. All right, so let's go over Scorpio really quick. So Scorpio in the past sometimes has abused great power over the other people that they are in control of. And they're often torn between two contradictory tendencies. So in this particular lifetime, their mission is to show others that they can completely transform themselves in this life from materialism to like an elevated spirituality. So their karmic challenge is the transformation from that position of power into elevated spiritual concepts. So Cynthia says she's a Leo. Awesome. We'll be going over Leo. And Cynthia Carlson on Pisces cusp. Wow, that's interesting. We're gonna have to talk about that, Cynthia Carlson. Robin, we're gonna get to Leo and Libra and Gemini in just a few minutes. I think we have enough time to finish everybody. So let's go on to our fire signs. So our fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And their challenges are linked to the personality development of their persona. So what that particularly means is they are bold explorers, but they have to learn the meaning of respect for others and the virtues of dialogue. In other words, fire signs may just want to cut the conversation off and not listen to an opposing dialogue from someone else. So the challenge is to be an explorer and to explore that other dialogue from that other person and appreciate how they're viewing things and how they feel about things. So let's look at Aries. Aries in past lives has aimed to develop the spirit of courage and decisiveness. But in this particular lifetime, their karmic challenge is to fight detachment, their tendency to become detached and direct their tremendous energy into a beneficial direction. So in other words, it's just an ego check that Aries has to undergo, which is really not that bad. And that's not a huge thing to overcome in this particular lifetime. So that's reasonable, that's doable. Now let's look at Leo. Leo is another very strong ego-driven type of sign in which the person in past life has held positions of high power where people dealt them a lot of respect, and that has fed the ego, or they were very artistic and you know, people gave them a lot of praise. They were in the limelight. But Leo's challenge now is to learn that to temper their ego in a positive direction, okay, and kind of switch it to altruism or generosity. It's their challenge is to see beyond the self and to actually see other people around them. And while they're in the limelight, here's the catch: see the audience. If you're in the limelight, never forget your audience. Always see the audience. Every single person sitting in that audience is important. So that's the karmic challenge for Leo. Now let's look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius people have often in past lives really kind of delved into their spiritual heights. They are enthusiastic. They love to spread joy. And they love to talk and spread their knowledge. But the karmic challenge for this lifetime is to perfectly control the thoughts and words so that you don't unintentionally trigger or harm other people with what you say. So always check what you're saying for triggers that could elicit something hurtful in somebody that's around you. So that's Sagittarius's karmic challenge. Hey to Jess and Christy, thanks for joining us. So now we're going to look at the air signs, and we're just going to cut it right under the wire for this. So the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and they're very air-oriented, you know, intelligent, high thinkers, very versatile in their intelligence, and they are people that seek evolution, a mental activity. The things, though, that are their karmic challenges is to kind of, let's see, how can I put this? Make mental contact and interactions with which allow them to exercise taking their intellect to a more spiritual evolution. So not just to engage in intellect for intellect, but to see it on a higher ground or a spiritual plane. Hey, Melissa, she's an Aquarius. So yeah, oh, we're gonna get to Aquarius. Aquarius, I think, let me check. Yeah, Aquarius is last. We'll get there. So let's take a little look at Gemini. Now, Geminis have developed their mental qualities in the past and presently are seeking improvement in this area. The problem with Gemini, this is their karmic challenge, and the reason I'm laughing is David is a Gemini and he is so like this. They are so interested in, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and this, and they get all these projects started and then never finish. So Gemini's problem is they must focus and control their desire, okay? Trying to pull back or refrain from trying to do everything, okay? So their karmic challenge is to focus, and then focus. So that's, I hope David's listening. Focus, David. Let's see. Now we need to go over Libra. Now, Libra's aim is to regain a state of harmony in their life and social justice. So they are really trying to create a harmonious environment around themselves, and they try to balance their friendships and stuff. But the challenge for Libra is to love what is different about people and not trying to change it to become more harmonious. In other words, they want to fix things about other people to make that more harmonious so that everything fits together. But the challenge is to embrace and to love what's different and to love actually the disharmony that may be created by another being or entity. It's their own energy that you need to, you know, collect and say, hey, I love you for who you are. Donna says, so am I, and I'm a trip Gemini. Oh yeah, the struggle is for real on Gemini, absolutely. Okay, so love what's different, Gemini. Don't try, or love what's different, Libra. Don't try to change people. Now we'll go over Aquarius, and that'll be the end of this. Now I found all this research. I'm not sure how I don't agree with all of it, but I think a few of these are pretty accurate about describing people and their challenges. And certainly with each different place that you research and what you read, they're all going to be just a little bit different. But this was a pretty good site. And so I thought I would go ahead and present it to you for your consideration. So let's top it off with Aquarius. So listen, Melissa, Aquarius is concerned with liberty, fraternity. Their concept of love is almost always ahead of time. However, they often forget the people who are the closest around to them. So according to this research, their challenge in this life is to begin at the beginning, okay? It's solidarity in the union of two, and the ones that are most important to you should be first. So what that kind of means in a nutshell is when you get involved with something, or let's say you get involved with a project and you want to help people out, or you get made the head of something and you really want to help people out with this, you're going to put everybody first, except for the people that really matter are the ones that are the next to you, that we should try to put them always first. So it's solidarity and union of the two. That is Aquarius's challenge. They often forget the ones closest to them. So I'm not sure if I agree with that or not, because I know a lot of people who are Aquarius that, you know, the people that are closest to them are always first. But I do see where Aquarians, when they get involved with something and they promise their time, I do see where Aquarians really run themselves down trying to please everybody and get everything done for other people rather than themselves. So the karmic challenge to me, better for them, would be pay attention to self first and don't, you know, sacrifice that for someone else's concerns. Hey to Carla Booth, Lavotis, and Stacy. Leanne says, my nephew is an Aquarius and in Istanbul. Well, we'll send some prayers out that way, Leanne, and hope that we put some protection around that soul and keep them safe. Let me check for any more questions. No more questions, so that's it, guys. Let's find out. I didn't wait on you guys tonight. I went ahead and ate dinner, but it was so fabulous. I got to bring David down to let him tell you about it. So we have to do what was for dinner, not what is for dinner. Because I didn't wait on you guys, but I did bring you a Manhattan that I'm going to drink for you. So here he comes.
Hello, hello.
Hey, David, what was for dinner?
What was for dinner, indeed.
What was it?
So, let me make sure I get in the
Come on over here where Instagram can see you too. Hey.
So, I fixed a classic Kentucky dinner, Western Kentucky style, with navy beans instead of pinto. Sorry, I'm out of breath from running downstairs.
I made him run down.
I cooked the beans and ham together, then I pureed the beans, and I added a spice to it called epazote. It's a Mexican spice. And when I served it, I put the ham back on top and made a herbed oil and put around on it, and fresh cracked black pepper. And I put an Indian herb called methi into the cornbread.
It was good.
And I used a mixture of yogurt and buttermilk in the cornbread, and pickled some red onions. That's what we had.
Now you see why I didn't wait for you guys to eat. I ate before the show.
It turned out.
It turned out really, really well. If you guys want to see pictures of the dinner, go to Instagram and search Fiorin Woods, FeorinWoods, and you can see some pictures of tonight's meal. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
We'll see you next Monday. Kisses from Kentucky, guys. See you next week.
What was for dinner? It'll be what's for cooking later. Oh. Evil David.